I have a question for you. How would it feel if you could live the rest of your life and never make a mistake ever again?
Feels great.
That would feel amazing, right? Cool, yes. Well, I know. No pressure. No, see, without any pressure. That's the cool part, right? Life is kind of crazy, right? You can't control it. You can't script it. You can't direct it. And who the hell knows what the other guy is going to do, right? You can't control the other actors. I would say this is like the worst play ever. Except that it does just go on and on just like that. Life is improvisational theater. All the time. And the thing is, you know about improv, right? I mean, you've seen maybe Whose Line Is It Anyway? Or you know that the skits on Saturday Night Live, they're not just written by a bunch of nerds with pens like back in the back room, right? Those skits come out of acting exercises that actors do together to tune their instruments. Okay, so, but it turns out, and you can apply these techniques to your own life, but it turns out you're already doing improv all the time. I mean, just think about it. You stand in line at the grocery store and you strike up a conversation with the person behind you, right? And you're working without a script all your life, pretty much. Although it would be cool, I was just at Thanksgiving dinner with my family and I wish that I could have handed Uncle Larry a script. That would have been cool for me. I don't know, everybody's got one, right? It would have been awesome, like, these are your remarks, Uncle Larry, don't get off book, right? Okay, well, fortunately, there are techniques that actors use to ground themselves and to enhance their performance. And I'm going to tell you 3 ways that you can tune your instrument and enhance your innate, inherent improv skills. Okay, number 1. The number 1 rule for improv is to be present. Right? I know that sounds odd, but of course, everybody tells you, right? What's the basis of everything? I know everybody starts with listen, right? Active listening. You have to listen and pay attention. But it's really true. The thing is, you can't play well with your fellow actors if you don't hear them. And improvisational theater means that we all get in a room to act out scenes together that we've never discussed in advance, with characters who come up out of people's imagination immediately, on the fly, right there. They say lines that have never been written down, and they somehow come together with a group mind to create a scene that can actually move people. Sometimes, mostly to laughter, but I mean, I've been in improv scenes where people were moved to tears. And the whole gamut of human emotion is right there, right for the picking, if you only listen and pay attention to the other actors around you. Imagine if I start a scene, I'm standing here, and I'm like, do you suppose we should add blueberries to the waffles this time? And if the guy over here is like, I don't know, I think the coordinates for mission control are off. Well, I'm over here making waffles, and this guy's over here at mission control in outer space. We have a communication problem, right? Okay, but if you listen and pay attention, you can use your energy so much more wisely. You don't have to go crazy, right? You don't have to be thinking about mission control. You could just take waffles. Waffles. Just go for it, right? Okay. The other thing is that you need to work at the top of your intelligence, right? Part of listening and paying attention is you bringing your A game all the time. That's how you are present in the world, because the only instrument you can tune is this one, right? So if your body and your mind and your heart are your instrument, then, you know, you want to bring everything that you've ever done, every experience you've ever had, every conversation you've overheard, every character you've ever met, every weird, perverted thought you've ever had, that can all come to your skill set, right? It's just like any kind of musician, right? If I practice my scales day in and day out, well, eventually, because they say it takes 10,000 hours before you become an expert, right? Has anybody ever heard that statistic? So if I practice, I don't have to practice scales for 10,000 hours. I practice scales when I start, and I start playing chopsticks, and I work my way up to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and by the time, you know, and if I do it enough, eventually I'm playing Chopin, right? And when I give a concert performance of Chopin, I don't have to think about scales. They're internal. So your entire experience comes with your being present. All right, next thing, be open. Be open to experience. Why? Well, because there are no mistakes in improv, right? You can't do it wrong. If nobody knows what's going to happen, so anything you say next is fair game. But you have to, the only way you can be wrong in improv is if you leave your fellow players hanging out to dry. If you sit on the sidelines and you don't get up on stage, well, like, what was that? You weren't acting. Part of acting is like taking action. You got to get in there. You got to participate, right? Being open is about participating, and it's also about staying open. A lot of people, how many control freaks do we have in the room? Some people, you like to make schedules, you like to make lists, you want to know what's going to happen next. You want to maybe tell other people what they're going to do next. Maybe you wish you could tell the whole world what to do next. I know I have the solution to pretty much every problem, and no one ever consults me. It sucks. I mean, I wish they'd just call me up because I could tell them how to do it. But no, you know, it doesn't work like that. Too bad. The part of being open is learning. I'm going to tell you a don't thing. I know I should tell you what to do, but I can only tell you what not to do for this one. Don't block. Don't block. Don't block the other guy's ideas. Don't block the other person's gifts to you. If I am over here stirring the waffles and you are on the moon, well, that's a block, and it's negative, and you know what it is? It's basically blocking is inserting your ego into a situation where we didn't need your ego, right? What we needed was your top intelligence, and we needed your enthusiasm. And what you gave us was the moon, when all you had to do was the next thing from waffles, right? Anything. You could have said anything, but the moon. Okay, so that's a block. So we're going to try a little exercise now. I just trust me on this, okay? I just want you to say no. I want you to say no in unison to whatever I say next, right?
No.
Wait. Okay. Oh, that's part of being present is relax. Wait for it. It'll all come. It's coming. Okay, so here we go. Say no to whatever I say next. Does everyone here want to tell a story with me?
No.
Okay, cool. Bye. I'm going home. That's it. I'm out.
No.
No, wait. Okay. So see, when you block, you basically just shut down all the action. We can't act if you're blocking. Now, that's not to say that you're never going to have a scene where people don't argue or say no in the context of a scene, right? You could be having an argument with your mom, and that could be a whole scene, an improv scene. But I mean no is negating the other guy. That's blocking, right? We don't do that. So if I'm making waffles and you're on the moon, that's blocking. Don't do that. Let's try again. Now I want you to say yes. Say yes and, okay? Because we're going to affirm and we're going to build. Watch this. Say yes and to everything I say next. Trust me, I'm not going to make you promise to do anything creepy. All right, here we go. Does everyone want to tell a story with me?
Yes.
Is the story about a knight?
Yes. And.
Is the knight wearing shining armor?
Yes. And.
Is there a damsel in distress locked in a tower?
Yes. And.
Is she wearing a beautiful gown and a fabulous tiara?
Yes. And.
Okay. Is the tower guarded by a dragon?
Yes. And.
Huh. Does our hero slay the dragon?
Yes. And.
Does he save the damsel in distress?
Yes. And.
And do they live happily ever after?
Yes. And.
Ta-da! You agreed! That's all you had to do. You agreed. You were open to change and new information, and you said yes. You affirmed and you built on it. Good for you. Wouldn't it be cool if you did that in real life?
Yes.
And and what would you do next, right? If you think about every bid being, well, okay, we did that. Basically, you want to think about yes and as a theme for your whole life, right? One of the ABCs of improv is always be continuing. Always be continuing. You know, blocking is like stopping someone in their tracks or going back. You know, you don't, whatever, you can't fix that anyhow, right? And if you're sitting around trying to predict what's going to happen all the time, like, are you a troubleshooter? Are you one of those people you try to inoculate yourself against future emotion by thinking about all the terrible things that might occur? How often would you say, on a percentage basis, does one of the crazy scenarios that you thought of in your mind, like, how often does that thing actually happen just like you imagined? And like, even if it did you feel better knowing that, oh yeah, I'm cool, I like predicted that was going to happen just like that? No. And in fact, what usually happens is something really, really weird and way, way wackier than any of the scenarios that you could have imagined, right? So don't block yourself. Leave yourself open. Relax. Wait for it. I promise you, it's coming. Whatever it is, oh, it's coming. You know? Okay. The last rule of the game. So don't control, don't direct, don't try too hard, and you know what? Don't try to be funny. That's another rule of improv. It sounds weird. Don't try to be funny. Why? Just try to tell the truth. If you're true to your character, trust me, there's humor in that. That's where humor lives, in the truth. Okay, the last bit I'm going to leave you with is the third rule. So we've talked about be present, we've talked about be open, and now I want you to simply serve. Serve the scene. If I'm making blueberry waffles, you could just be like, wow, it's awesome, because that was Grandma's favorite. Remember how she used to make us blueberry waffles for dinner? And like, oh, now we're off. That's interesting stuff, right? So be present, be available to be open for the next thing, and like, say yes and serve the scene. Serve your fellow players, right? Make the other guy look good. You know, get out of your own head. Don't try to jockey for position. Don't try to make yourself the star of the show. There are no stars in improv. Everybody's working together. That's the whole point, right? Serve your fellow players. The way to do that, you make the other guy look good, and you look good. It's like magic. Suddenly the scene is going swimmingly, right? Also, you need to serve the audience. What's cool about humor Everybody knows this, even from simple stuff like knock-knock jokes, right? The rule of threes and humor, right? You've heard of it, like if something, oh, aren't you glad I didn't say banana, right? Now, we can go through all that, but aren't you glad I didn't say banana is the punchline to a very silly knock-knock joke that I'm sure everyone here has told and every child has told you, and you're like, oh, this again. But the cool thing about why children love to say that joke is because that is serving the audience. What does the audience want out of theater or life in general? They have certain expectations, and the expectation, knock knock, who's there, knock knock, who's there, creates a situation where you have expectation and the twist happens at the end, right? The element of surprise is what makes a joke, what makes aren't you glad I didn't say banana hilarious. All right, if you don't know that joke, I can't help you. Okay, so be present, be open, and serve. I will leave you with one last thought from the bard himself. No one can say it better, so I'm just going to say it. All the world's a stage, and all the people in it merely players. I want you to think about that last word. Not actors, not lawyers, certainly not accountants. All the people in it merely accountants. That sounds terrible. That's the worst line ever. All the people in it, life, the stage, all the people in it merely players. You are here to play. Right? You're not here to work. You are here to play. And when you play, that's what makes a great scene. So have a great life. Improv your life. That's that. I'm here for questions. Does anybody have questions? I know that was funky. That's the first time I've ever given that talk. So that was weird. Yes?
What is Kimprovise? What do you do with yourself?
Oh, what I do. Okay, so I had a career as a freelance writer, and then I ran away with a boy to Vegas. And I said yes and to a fella, and then I said no but. And I did do some blocking. I know, see, right? Okay, so there's experience there. So I went to Vegas with my husband, now my ex, and he was very generous at the time because I gave up my freelance writing career here that I had established. So I'm a writer by trade, and I do document design. I design the program, and so stuff like that, writing and editing, and that's my whole life basically. It was translating, but I'm not a novelist. I'm not writing the great American novel. I was a business writer. Like I translated people's businesses into like business plans that could get investment capital and stuff like that. So like taking nerd language and making it sound like crazy sexy money. That's the kind of writing I do. Okay, so then I went off to Vegas, and my husband was very generous, and he said, baby, just get the most Vegas-y job you can get, and you can write about it. Right? If it doesn't work out, at least you'll have stories to tell. Well, oh, do I have stories to tell. I worked at Viva Las Vegas Wedding Chapel. I was hired as a wedding coordinator. I have seen it all. I have been Janet in a Rocky Horror Picture Show in a Rocky Horror wedding. I have been Princess Leia. I have been a Vulcan. I have been a James Bond girl dancing around on top of a table. I have been the Phantom of the Opera and a million other things. And oh yes, and I wore a showgirl costume. That was many, many pounds ago. Okay, so that's part of it. I have but out there, Vegas is a really crass and hard place to live. So I fell in with the Second City Improv Training Institute, and I have a background in theater. I've always done community theater and musicals. I'm not like a professional actress, but I enjoy theater. So I got in with the Second City gang, and they did improv, and they used to have this thing on Monday nights called The Set. And anybody could show up, and anybody could participate, and it was super, super fun. We played all kinds of games, and there were troupes that actually did 20-minute improv performances, and it's like with scenes, and they literally had no idea what was going to happen next. And that was killer. And so anyway, what I do is I teach improv workshops. And so if you want to build your confidence and have more fun and, you know, enjoy your life and learn how to relax and wait for it and learn how to do all these crazy things like be present and be open and pay attention and serve your fellow players, I teach improv workshops, and I also dabble, because I've always loved costumes and playing dress up. I've done costumes for a lot of theater and film stuff. So I do wardrobe styling. Also, I'm a stylist. I can edit. I'm not just an editor of words. I can edit your closet. I can help you make yourself. I mean, so that's part of how I fit in with the body, mind, spirit connection. I know it's kind of weird, and you probably were thinking like improvisational theater. What does that have to do with it? I should have put angels in my title. Duh. Like, oh, I'm an idiot. But anyway. You can change your mindset with improv. So improv workshops, but also you can change your whole, I mean, basically you have to costume this character every day. And so if you can integrate your wardrobe with your personality and make the way you look on the outside reflect how you are on the inside, you could change your whole people, because I mean, let's be honest. I mean, yes, we would love to say it's very deep and meaningful. I would love to like understand someone's consciousness and curiosity from just looking at them. But I can't really. I mean, all I have is this shell and what I put on it to indicate like that's me. So, you know, if I were here standing in front of you wearing like a charcoal pinstripe business suit, like that would be weird, right? and you know, that's why here, you know, you see a lot of softer fashions. And anyway, so I do wardrobe styling, writing, editing, improv workshops. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I have a table in there. Nobody's been to it because
They're not busy.
not there. Yeah. But anyway, there are coupons and cards and things, and you know, check it out. Thank you so much.